Abe's story is a haunting personal memoir of Abram Korn, who was just 16 years old when the Nazis invaded his hometown in Poland in 1939. It's a story of hope and of the human potential to do good in the face of horrible evil. Helen Bissell has a personal relationship to this story that, of course, happened decades before you were even born, Helen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it's a story that was not quite concluded, but as relatives found the story, Abram's story, they were able to put the conclusion on it.
Right, that's right. Put the ending to the story.
Yeah.
And have the book published.
Take me back to that 16-year-old and what life was like.
Abe lived in Lipno, Poland with his family, parents, two younger sisters, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. They were Hasidic Jews. And it was already a time where they were required to wear an armband or a patch with a Jewish star on it to signify to everyone that they were Jews, possibly to be abused. And that's how the time was. But his town was bombed on the very first day of World War II, September 1st, 1939.
Oh my gosh. You say that the story just talks about unimaginable conditions.
So through time, he was in 2 ghettos, several concentration camps, where they were basically prisoners. They were starved, they were abused, they had horrific living conditions, and they were, the purpose that the Nazis had for them, besides exterminating him, was to use them as a workforce.
Was he separated from his family?
After the first ghetto, he escaped.
He escaped.
He escaped.
You know, it's important to set this scene because we are talking about a time that is just unimaginable in history. 12 million people murdered, 6 million Jews. You feel like the further we get away from this, the more important it is to keep telling the story.
Teach the children and tell the story to adults as well, so that people realize that it wasn't just a horrible part of history, it was real.
Yeah.
It was real. And unfortunately, it could happen again. And that's what we need to make sure doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen again. It's also just really unfortunate because since the war in the Mideast 2 years ago now, there has been this rise in prejudice and anti-Semitism.
Yes, and I don't really understand it, and it is a lot on college campus. And I think some of them don't even know what they're protesting for or against, which is a little bit concerning. Maybe it's calmed down a little bit, and I hope it will continue to calm down more, but I just don't understand why it's happening.
Yeah.
But I have a passion to share this story and make sure people understand what truly happened.
You are speaking soon at the Brown Bag Lunch Series at the History Museum.
Yes, May 14th.
So that'll be a great opportunity for you to share the story.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it and honored to have been invited.
Yeah, to be a part of that. What do you think we can do to try to help our younger generations have more of an understanding? So like you say, so it doesn't get repeated.
That's right. Well, I think, excuse me, schools have gotten away from teaching much about the Holocaust. I'm not exactly sure why, but it needs to continue to be taught, because if they don't learn history, then history can be repeated. So they need to learn the history so that it doesn't get repeated. They need to be educated on that. And they need to understand what can happen if things get out of control.
Yeah. I had a Jewish roommate when I was in college, and it was just so interesting for us to talk about the world from our different perspectives. And I just had such an appreciation for the way that she reacted to things that didn't hit me in the same way, but it was because of the Holocaust and just how personal it was to her.
Absolutely.
And her ancestors.
Absolutely. And I think it has shaped my life, like you said, just from my childhood.
Yeah.
And every day when I think about it, it continues to shape my life. And so many people that were murdered, but so many people that came out of it positively. And decided to remain positive and let it change their lives in a positive way rather than carrying it as a burden to live their lives
That's
negatively.
Right. And instead of letting it shape their life that way. You are going to want to learn more about Abe's story, and I'm going to tell you how you can do that. But I also want to really encourage you to take the time to go and see Helen on May 14th. Here's that information. You can see Helen in person as she is featured in next week's Brown Bag Lunch series at the Augusta History Museum. It's Wednesday, May 14th. For members, it's free, $5 for non-members, and you do not have to register. Take your own lunch and visit with others at 11:30 in the Rotunda. The lecture starts at 12:30 in the Museum Theater. A short Q&A follows the talk, and if you can't make it, you can see the recording on the AMH YouTube channel. If you want more information about having Helen speak to your group, you can find booking details at abesstory.org. You can also buy books there and get information about Abe's journey at remember.org. We'll be right back.